Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin pondered a bit before flying off into the distance. He had his divine sense spread out and was proceeding very carefully. The rifts gave him a headache because with them around, he had no choice but to move slowly. In the last 2 days, Wang Lin passed over many places destroyed by the rifts. He saw a basin in the distance with piercing sword auras that pierced the sky like swords. He scanned the area with his divine sense and found that there were more than 10,000 basins here. They covered an area so huge that he couldn't even see where it ended. There was a long sword stabbed into each basin. Although half of the swords were underground, Wang Lin could clearly feel the powerful sword intent. Metal soul pieces, Wang Lin pondered. He had been inside the Suzaku tomb for a while, and everything was so different from what Sichu Nan told him. Wang Lin wasn't dumb, he already had his own speculations on why this happened. I'm afraid that the Suzaku tomb is in fact the cultivation planet crystal itself. I'm in the Suzaku tomb, and also inside the cultivation planet crystal. This is why all these strange life forms were born in the tomb. This is why those strange rifts appeared when the cultivation planet crystal began to shatter. These rifts are the collapse of the cultivation planet crystal. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy as he looked at the basins before him. This, however, was still only his own speculation. He would need to go to the center of this place to confirm it. If the mountain was there, then he was wrong, but if it wasn't, then he was right. Wang Lin pondered a bit. Then he spread out his divine sense and his heart trembled. At the center of this area was a large basin that was covered by a layer of dark blue ice, so no one could see what was inside. However, the sword intent here was the strongest one. It pierced the heavens and gave off an arrogant aura. This aura was not something a normal flying sword could have. Wang Lin personally saw something with a similar aura back at the celestial realm. How could this place have such a thing? Wang Lin looked at the basins before him. The basins covered too large of an area, so it would take too much time to go around. There would also be other life forms along the way anyway, so there was indifference in the amount of danger. Also, the thing in the center basin gave him a familiar feeling. This feeling wasn't from a certain soul piece, but a general familiarity. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin walked into the area of the basins. However, after 100 feet, one of the basins revealed a cold intent. The sword in the basin came out of the ground and flew toward Wang Lin. This was a very common sword. It was 3 feet long, 2 fingers wide, and was completely silver. The tip of the sword was pointed at Wang Lin and releasing waves of sword hums. Scram! A divine sense came from the sword. This divine sense was very tyrannical and was filled with arrogance. Life forms formed by metal elemental souls are similar to a sword spirit. When Wang Lin felt the divine sense inside the sword, his eyes lit up and he thought of something. The sword intent coming from the big basin at the center was very similar to the sword intent from the celestial swords. He touched his bag of holding and the celestial sword appeared. The moment the celestial sword appeared, the sword from earlier paled in comparison like a firefly next to a roaring fire. Wang Lin shouted, Shuligua. Black gas came out from the celestial sword and Shuligua took form. He looked at the sword and mischievously laughed. Grandkid, although your grandpa Shuligua only became a sword spirit halfway, you. Without waiting for him to speak, the arrogant sword trembled and quickly escaped without any hesitation. This scene stunned Shuligua, but then he quickly became arrogant. Run? Did your grandpa Shuligua let you run? With that, he carried the celestial sword and chased after it. A sword spirit naturally needs another sword spirit to suppress it. Wang Lin raised his feet and walked forward. Shuligua cleared the path for Wang Lin. All of the treasure swords they passed by came out, but ran after seeing Shuligua. This scene was very strange. It was as if all of the treasure swords were afraid of Shuligua. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he calmly watched all of this and continued to walk forward. Shuligua was very excited as he let out roars. He would fly here and there with the celestial sword while letting out excited roars. One by one the treasure swords came out from the basins and gathered at the center basin. Once there, they no longer escaped but floated there, releasing a powerful sword intent and cold aura. Along the way, Wang Lin quickly flew toward the center with Shuligua leading the way. There weren't many rifts here, Wang Lin only encountered 3 along the way. This place was one of the few places that weren't heavily affected by the collapse earlier. The deeper he went, the fewer rifts he encountered. Finally, he started moving at his full speed and charged toward the center like a meteor. Several hours later, the large basin in the center came into view. Hundreds of flying swords were floating above the center basin, releasing their sword intent. Wang Lin could feel the powerful sword intent all the way from here. Shuligua stopped and didn't dare to move forward. He looked at Wang Lin with a pleasing smile and said, "Master, you saw that I didn't slack off at all along the way and herded all the sword spirits here for you. Now that there isn't much left for me to do, how about I go back into the sword until you wipe out all those sword spirits? I'll come out right after." With that, Shuligua quickly returned back toward the celestial sword. However, when half of his body was back inside the sword, Wang Lin grabbed the sword and threw it along with Shuligua into the mass of treasure swords. Shuligua let out a scream as he quickly retreated back into the celestial sword and was about to control it to escape. "If you can't break through this place for me, then it will be useless to keep you." Wang Lin's cold voice echoed in his ears. He secretly complained and cursed Wang Lin in his heart. However, he didn't dare to try to escape anymore. He bit the bullet. He controlled the celestial sword and charged toward the dense mob of treasure swords like crazy while letting out vicious roars. His roars came out through the celestial sword, making them heaven-shaking sword hums. These sword hums could pierce the high heavens and caused all those treasure swords to make a path. At this moment, the blue mist covering the basin began to stir and a half-moon blade floated out. Wang Lin revealed a look of disappointment. When he felt the aura similar to the celestial sword, the first thing he thought of was wealth. Although he knew that it was unlikely, the feeling wouldn't go away. Unfortunately, the item before him was not wealth, but a half-moon blade. Since ancient times, swords and blades were equal in fame, but swords had their pride and blades had their own craze. It was fine if they were just normal pieces of metal, but once they gain a spirit, they can't coexist. It was even less likely for a blade that could make countless swords worship it to coexist with a sword, and this blade was not simple. But no matter how extraordinary this blade was, it was still made of countless soul pieces, so it was impossible to take it with him. Even if he manages to take it once he leaves the cultivation planet Crystal, it will shatter into countless soul pieces, and they would return to their owners. Wang Lin secretly sighed. He was about to raise his hand to call back the celestial sword and charge out of his place, when he suddenly stared at the mysterious blade. That's not right. The blade's spirit was not made by countless soul pieces, but just one. Wang Lin took a deep breath. He had seen many life forms since he arrived here, and all of them were made of countless soul pieces. None of them were made of just one soul piece like this blade spirit. When the half-moon blade flew out of the basin, all of the surrounding swords let out sword hums, as if they were paying respects to their lord before backing away. Shuligua saw the half-moon blade from inside the celestial sword and began to become nervous. He had always been a scaredy cat, so after seeing all the other swords back away, he wanted to submit as well, but was afraid of Wang Lin. His tremble transmitted to the celestial sword, causing it to tremble slightly. The half-moon blade appeared next to the celestial sword by using some mysterious method. With a ding, the celestial sword was pushed back, but there wasn't a single scratch on it. Shuligua let out a scream and flew toward Wang Lin without any hesitation. Wang Lin frowned. He always knew that Shuligua was a scaredy cat, but he didn't think Shuligua would run without even fighting. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and the celestial sword flew into his grasp. At this moment, the half-moon blade quickly closed in. Wang Lin quickly backed up and at the same time swung the sword, creating a wave of sword energy that collided with the half-moon blade. With a bang, the sword energy collided with the half-moon blade, but the half-moon blade wasn't damaged at all. Instead, it glowed even brighter and colder as it sent out a divine sense message. Leave behind. His soul, you, leave. After the divine sense message was sent out, the half-moon blade suddenly grew until it was 100 feet tall, and sent out a heaven-splitting wave of blade energy. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. As he backed up, he raised the celestial sword to block before him. The blade energy closed in, and with a bang, Wang Lin was blown back. Using this force, Wang Lin backed away. The power of that blade energy was as strong as a full-power attack from a late-stage soul transformation cultivator. Without using the 1 billion soul flag, there was no way Wang Lin could match it. Wang Lin quickly backed away. He didn't escape the same way he came, but to the opposite direction. He went deeper into the Suzaku tomb. Waves of divine sense messages were sent out from the blade. It was commanding all of the treasure swords to chase after Wang Lin. Wang Lin moved very quickly as he passed one basin after another. Countless treasure swords were chasing after him with the half-moon blade in the back. The celestial sword was already put away, so he could fly with all his might. The treasure swords from the basins before him all flew out and closed in on him, surrounding him completely. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as his right hand reached out and the 1 billion soul flag appeared. The soul flag turned into black fog and surrounded Wang Lin, causing his speed to increase several-fold. The treasure swords coming at him from the front all missed, but they quickly turned around to chase after him. At this moment, there was an endless sea of treasure swords behind Wang Lin. They were creating a sword intent that could destroy the heavens. The cold aura they created was causing the temperature to drop so much that even frost was appearing. It felt like the sword hums were the only things remaining in the world. The sword hums shook the heavens and the earth. This sound was so loud that cultivators, within tens of thousands of kilometers, all heard this. Many cultivators flew toward this location to see what was happening. Each of the swords released sword hums and a cold aura. When all of the swords combined, they seemed to have formed an ancient sword immortal. Rays of sword energy passed by Wang Lin from behind him. Wang Lin, who was surrounded by the soul flag, moved around like a cloud of smoke. Even though many sword energies still landed on him, they were all blocked by the soul flag. Only when the sword energy from the half-moon blade closed in would Wang Lin take out the celestial sword to block it. This whole situation was very exciting to Wang Lin. It made him remember the old days, when he was being hunted by others back, when his cultivation level was still low. Just at this moment, 2 rays of light flew toward Wang Lin. They stopped 5,000 kilometers away, but when they noticed what was happening, they quickly turned to escape. Wang Lin let out a laugh as he turned around and looked at the countless treasure swords behind him and the half-moon blade. He teleported and reappeared 5,000 kilometers away. However, as soon as he reappeared, those treasure swords that were about to catch up to him released a bright flash, and instantly closed the distance. A thunderous rumble echoed through the tomb, and the aura of destruction from when the tomb was collapsing seemed to reappear. As the 2 rays of light quickly escaped, Wang Lin immediately recognized the 2 people. One of these 2 was a male and the other one was a female. Just from seeing his ears, Wang Lin knew that he was Zhu Wutai. As for the woman, she was wearing a purple veil. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he recognized her as well. Although Wang Lin was being chased by all the treasure swords, his expression was calm and he laughed. "Don't leave, brother Zhu. Wait for me for a moment." Zhu Wutai's expression was ugly as he muttered, "Unlucky." He pretended not to hear Wang Lin and flew even faster. As for the woman, the moment she saw Wang Lin, she revealed a face full of fear and quickly escaped. Just like this, the 2 of them flew in front with Wang Lin behind them, followed by countless swords. The half-moon blade would occasionally appear and send out a wave of blade energy. This blade energy was the only thing that Wang Lin was really worried about. Every time one was thrown at him, he had to dodge it quickly. The half-moon blade was very strange. Thanks to his divine sense, he noticed that every time this half-moon blade reached a certain speed, a mysterious power would force it to slow down. Otherwise, it could have easily caught up to Wang Lin. The 3 of them were flying at their top speeds. After 3 incense sticks of time, the edge of the basin-filled area appeared in their view. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he immediately teleported. When he reappeared, he was already at the edge of the area. As soon as he appeared, he immediately charged off without a moment of pause. Zhu Wutai hesitated a bit before chasing after Wang Lin. As for the woman, she hesitated a bit before choosing another direction and split off from Zhu Wutai. The treasure swords all stopped here. Only the half-moon blade didn't stop at all and charged out of the area of the basins. After the half-moon blade left the basins, its speed suddenly exploded. The mysterious force that was slowing it down seemed to have weakened, causing its speed to reach an unimaginable level. In almost a blink of an eye, the half-moon blade went past by Zhu Wutai and charged toward Wang Lin. Zhu Wutai's forehead was covered in cold sweat. When the blade passed by him, he didn't notice it at all. He only felt a powerful wind and saw a black dot disappear into the horizon. What is that item? What fast speed? It is at least tens of times faster than before. Zhu Wutai's heart was shocked as he chased after Wang Lin and the blade. While Wang Lin was flying away, he had to slow down because after leaving the basin area, the rifts began to appear more and more often. After spending some time dodging rifts, he chose to stop on top of a mountain. When he looked into the distance, he could see a mountain giving off a rainbow-colored glow. This mountain looked exactly the same as the spirit mountain Sichu Nan had described to him. Almost instantly after he stopped, a thunderous roar charged in from the distance. Wang Lin was already prepared and immediately teleported 10,000 feet away. With a bang, the mountain he was just at collapsed. With a flash of blue light, the half-moon blade flew out from the rubble. At the same time, a divine message came out from the half-moon blade. Leave him here. Wang Lin's body disappeared again, but this time he felt pain from his left arm. When he reappeared 10,000 feet away, the sleeve on his left arm was gone and a wound appeared. What fast speed! After Wang Lin reappeared, he teleported again. He didn't dare to teleport too far, because if he ended up near a rift, it would be dangerous. As a result, every time Wang Lin teleported, there would be a flash of blue light, and the spot Wang Lin was just at would collapse. That half-moon blade seemed to have gone mad chasing after Wang Lin. With a flash, Wang Lin teleported 10,000 feet away, and immediately moved to the side. Then a rift silently appeared next to where he was. Right after Wang Lin teleported, a flash of blue light went through where he just was. Everything in the path of the blue light was destroyed, including mountains, the earth, and even some of the rifts that appeared before it all collapsed. Seeing this caused Wang Lin's skull to tingle. He once more teleported without any hesitation. This time he felt pain from his right leg and fresh blood was spewing out of it. After appearing 5 kilometers away, Wang Lin's right hand rubbed over the wound, causing it to close and the blood to disappear. What kind of treasure is this? A trace of greed appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He had only ever seen this kind of speed on one other thing, and that was the fourth soul from the soul flag. After comparing the two, their speeds were almost exactly the same, only the power of the blade was stronger. After all, being pierced by the needle might hurt, but being hit by the blade might result in your head rolling on the ground. This is made of just one soul piece. Who does this soul piece belong to have such powerful metal elemental power? This blade is a treasure. Wang Lin's body disappeared again, and everything around the spot he was just in collapsed once more. The blade became even faster, and Wang Lin soon became unable to keep up. If he was careless for just a moment, he would be injured. Now he knew why Zhu Qzi dreaded the fourth soul so much. I must made it mine. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he took out the celestial sword. With one flick, Shuligua was forced out of the celestial sword by him. Shuligua, bear with it for a while like you did with the giant demon clan ancestor. Once I get my soul piece back, I'll come and save you. With that, Wang Lin waved his hand and Shuligua flew into the air. Shuligua let out a cry and was about to escape when the half-moon blade caught him and they disappeared. Shuligua's cry came from the distance. Master, you mustn't forget to save me. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he held the celestial sword. He and Shuligwa were linked, so he could feel where he was. Also, the blade spirit shouldn't hurt Shuligwa, because it had other intentions. And Shuligwa was a devil, so he was not easily destroyed. Right now he was in a rush and didn't have the time to deal with the blade at the moment. With Shuligwa as bait, he will have plenty of time in the future to get it. After he put the celestial sword away, he looked at the rainbow-colored mountain in the distance and was about to fly there. However, just at this moment, his expression changed and he turned around to look at a nearby mountain. There he saw a red figure. This figure was filled with hollowness and loneliness. She stood there like a red butterfly that wanted to leave with the wind, but was forced to stay. Red butterfly. If Red Butterfly was here, then Qian Feng was also around. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his divine sense spread out. Qian Feng was at the mid-stage of soul transformation, so if he wanted to hide himself, it would be hard for Wang Lin to find him. Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he clasped his hands at Red Butterfly and said loudly, "Long time no see, fellow cultivator Red Butterfly." The red figure in the not-so-distant peak was filled with a sense of hollowness. She gave Wang Lin a deep look and then, in the blink of an eye, she disappeared from the mountain and reappeared 1,000 feet from him. After she got close, her hollow and empty eyes were imprinted in Wang Lin's mind. His expression became very ugly. He had heard about what happened to Red Butterfly and even noticed her presence when he battled Qian Feng. But today was the first time he truly met her again after battling her. What Wang Lin saw in Red Butterfly's eyes was only death. The current Red Butterfly was still beautiful, but Wang Lin could no longer see the prideful and arrogant daughter of heaven she once was. The Red Butterfly from back then was Xueyu's genius, the blessed daughter of the heavens, someone who reached the late stage of soul formation in only 100 years. She considered Wang Lin a mere ant, and their small encounters eventually led to their decisive battle. Although this was the case, in Wang Lin's heart, he still respected her. This respect was one's acknowledgement of their opponent. Seeing that his past opponent was now like this made Wang Lin sigh. The phrase, "while things may remain the same, people don't," wasn't wrong at all. Comparing her past self to now, Wang Lin would rather see the prideful Red Butterfly from before. Only by fighting people like her could he step toward the peak of cultivation. Wang Lin let out a sigh. He buried the regret in his heart as he looked at Red Butterfly and shouted, "Qian Feng, come out." Red Butterfly stood there looking up into the sky with eyes devoid of emotion. Qian Feng's voice came from the void. "Seng Niu, I don't have time to deal with you today. Since you found this place, we will meet at the Spirit Mountain." Wang Lin suddenly turned around and looked at a mountain in the distance. A black fog came out from the mountain and charged toward the Spirit Mountain at a shocking pace. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. He let out a cold snort and was about to charge toward the Spirit Mountain. "Red Butterfly, didn't you want to battle Seng Niu again? I'll give you that chance today. Kill him." Qian Feng's voice came from the distance and then he disappeared. "Seng Niu, this is a good chance to catch up with your old friend, so take your time. Once I get my soul peace, I'll come and deal with you." The hollowness in Red Butterfly's eyes disappeared and was replaced with the urge to battle. She moved before Wang Lin to block him and took out a red long sword. At the same time, a powerful aura spread out from Red Butterfly. This aura was no weaker than Wang Lin's and contained celestial spiritual energy. Although her cultivation level wasn't at the soul transformation stage yet, it wasn't far from it. "Seng Niu." A cold voice came from Red Butterfly as her cold gaze locked onto Wang Lin. Wang Lin slightly frowned as he looked at her. He was not in a rush to find Qian Feng, and he didn't expect the Spirit Mountain to be here. If they really were inside the cultivation planet crystal, then the Spirit Mountain shouldn't exist. However, now that he did see the Spirit Mountain, this whole thing was strange, but since Qian Feng wanted to go scout it, let him. Red Butterfly's eyes lit up, and she waved the red sword. The sword flew out of her hand and shot toward Wang Lin's head like lightning. Wang Lin backed up, then his right hand touched his bag of holding and the restriction flag appeared in his hand. He shook the flag and countless restrictions flew out, forming shields before him. The red sword landed on the layers of shields, creating a series of thunderous rumbles that echoed throughout the area. A large amount of dirt and sand was blown into the air. A red flash could be seen inside dirt and sand as Red Butterfly quickly charged out. A piece of red ice was now in her hand. The red ice discharged a cold aura and immediately covered the surrounding area with it. As Red Butterfly closed in, her battle intent flickered for a moment, revealing a deep sense of sorrow. As she closed in, her lips trembled. "Kill me." A faint voice came from her mouth, but the sorrow from her eyes disappeared and was replaced by that powerful battle intent. Her power was at its peak as she charged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's heart trembled. When he heard Red Butterfly's voice, his gaze toward her became complicated. Red Butterfly hadn't lost all her sanity yet. There was still a sliver of it that was hidden very well. Red Butterfly was proud. Her pride came from her bones, from her very being. She was as proud as a rose from the moment she was born. The sliver of sanity she kept well hidden would rather die than live the life of a dog. Wang Lin took a deep breath and faced the incoming Red Butterfly. His right hand reached out and strands of restriction gas started glowing while gathering in his hand. A 30-foot-long black lance formed in his hand. Holding the lance in one hand, Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning. Then he looked at Red Butterfly and thrusted the lance at her. The sound created by the thrust was similar to the sound of hundreds of ghosts wailing. This sound came from the tip of the lance and echoed throughout the area. She suddenly pressed the red piece of ice on her forehead. At this moment, a red light shone from her forehead, and then layers of red ice spread from it, forming a set of red armor. This armor covered her completely and released a cold aura. The light illuminating the armor made her even more beautiful. The current her was like a war celestial. Next, the armor started glowing red and a black whip suddenly appeared in her hand. The Soul Lasher. This whip was given to her by Qian Feng to deal with Wang Lin. Red Butterfly's eyes revealed a mysterious light as she snapped the whip in her hand, causing a series of popping sounds from where the whip passed through. The whip moved like a dragon and shot toward Wang Lin like lightning. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and the lance moved at the same time. He backed up and formed a seal with his hand while muttering something. A gust of wind containing celestial spiritual energy shot out from the tip of the lance. The Soul Lasher and the lance collided. Boom! The shockwave that resulted from the whip and lance colliding was so powerful that it seemed like the heavens and earth were going to collapse. The gust of wind pushed all of the force of the shockwave toward Red Butterfly. This all happened in a split second. The moment the Soul Lasher hit the lance, it flew out of her hand. The Soul Lasher moved like black lightning as it charged through the shockwave toward Wang Lin. With a bang, Wang Lin quickly backed up more than 1,000 feet. His eyes revealed a mysterious light as he muttered, "Soul Lasher." This whip was once his, but he had to give it back right after taking it. Now that he saw this whip again, he had to keep it this time. As for Red Butterfly, with the gust pushing the shockwave at her, she had to back up. A large amount of cold aura came out from the red armor and extended forward. Waves of cracking sounds could be heard as various ice sculptures formed in the air before her. This cold aura froze the shockwave, turning it from something intangible to something tangible. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he stared at the armor. Red Butterfly raised her hand and pointed at the ice sculptures before her. A series of crackling sounds could be heard as cracks appeared on the outer layer of the sculptures. The cracks expanded like crazy. In the blink of an eye, there were no smooth surfaces left on the ice sculptures, and with a bang, they shattered. "Kill me," Red Butterfly revealed a struggling expression. Her face was filled with pain. At this moment, the Soul Lasher was moving around her body like a dragon, and her armor was releasing waves of cold aura. Wang Lin looked at Red Butterfly and silently nodded. He touched his bag of holding and a giant axe appeared in his hand. The sky darkened as soon as this axe appeared and all of the light gathered on the axe's blade. Strands of purple lightning moved from the axe to Wang Lin's body, causing a series of crackling sounds to emit from his body. At this moment, a desire for battle that he had never felt before appeared in his heart. This axe was summoned by the giant demon clan ancestor before he died. It was the weapon of the giant demon clan founding ancestor, who was trapped under the corpse sect in Zhao. After Wang Lin got it, he was originally going to let his original body use it. However, now that the celestial sword didn't have a sword spirit to unleash its full power, and he didn't want to use the soul flag, this was the best weapon for him to use with his full power. Red Butterfly stared at Wang Lin and opened her mouth. A red light flew out from her mouth and took the form of a crystal red rose. This rose started floating before her. Then it suddenly opened. As it bloomed, a red smoke came from the flower, and a figure that looked just like Red Butterfly appeared within the smoke. This figure contained a powerful sense of pride. It was exactly the same as the Red Butterfly that Wang Lin remembered. Seng Nyo, act now. The red butterfly in the red smoke was filled with pride as she looked at Wang Lin. Part 1 end here.